The images have been tough to see. Wāhitapu across to Matau-a-Māui submerged in sludge, drowned by the deluge caused by tropical Cyclone Gabrielle. Many whānau whose own homes could not be saved then had to come to terms with their wharenui and urupa damaged beyond repair from the ferocious storm. Reporter Ruani Pereira visited some of the worst affected areas to see what taonga can be salvaged, what can be restored, and what will need to be rebuilt.
Tangoio Marae in Esk Valley north of Napier was built on housey raffles and other fundraisers. It's the beating heart of this hapu, but since February 14 has been on life support. Brothers Joe and Bevan Taylor know every inch of their meeting house.
This is our town hall, okay? This is our library. This is everything. This is our hospital. This is all of that.
They helped build it in the late 80s and worked on its carvings.
Friday just broke our heart. So it was so emotional. I was crying and crying. Yeah, I was crying inside, and people had to come and ask me, I was just crying.
Gabrielle's fury has all but demolished their wharekai, and this was the state of their wharenui after the Category 3 cyclone. More than a week after the floods, whānau have gathered to pay their respects, organising this whakamoemiti to give thanks to this special place. Despite the constant rain and treacherous mud-soaked silt, whānau flocked to Tangoio. Also there, a team from Heritage New Zealand and Te Papa.
He āwhina, he atawhai, tō tātou mahi I ngā iwi kei a rātou ngā whakautu katoa. I a rātou pātai, nō reira ko tō mātou mahi he tautoko e āwhina I a rātou. Te anga whakamua, I ngā marama, I ngā tau kei te heke mai. He huarahi whānui kei mui I a rātou, nō reira tō mātou mahi he āwhina he tautoko I a rātou.
For the past 30 years, Dean Whiting has been working with marae around the country for the conservation of taonga. But the mammoth task ahead is a first for him.
Have you ever witnessed anything like this before?
No, this is a tremendously sad day for the people here. You can see it in everyone, the sadness of the situation. And the devastation is more than you can fathom through television and all the other kinds of media. So that's the thing that impacts on you coming here. And I think you can just see that it's going to take some time to people to get back on their feet.
Whānau whose own homes have been affected have worked long hours to lessen the impact of the large quantities of silt. Many more whānau couldn't be here. With a state of emergency in force, many, like Tali Hinton, stayed away. Even though she now lives in Wellington, Tangoio will always be home.
I regret not going home. I understand health and safety, but I wish we had gone home.
Tali is comforted with the special childhood memories she spent there. It was also where she received her moko kauai last year.
It's a beautiful whare, and it still is a beautiful whare, regardless of what's happened.
Dean and his team are almost finished surveying the damage done to the precious carvings and tukutuku panels that many here helped to make.
Actually, the taonga is in good shape and beautifully sheltered by the whare that's around it. So that's the amazing thing, is this building actually protected them.
He's praised the enormous effort whānau have made during what's been a traumatic time for them.
You know, they've got the main silk material off and cleaned it, and they're starting to dry out. So they're in good shape. That was the really surprising thing, I think. I mean, carvings are quite resilient, they're quite robust. It's really the tukutuku panels that are the concern. And their mahi right now is getting more of the mud out. And then it'll be the next phase when they go to dismantle.
45 minutes south of Tangoio, in the middle of Hawke's Bay's wine country, Omahu. Known to locals as the Promised Lands, this community was almost washed away when the Naruroro River broke its banks 3 weeks ago.
So when we come through this way, over the bridge coming home and then seeing our urupa there, it was just the most heartbreaking thing you can imagine.
While Omahu Marae wasn't badly affected, their urupa was directly in the cyclone's destructive path. It's hard to even comprehend the force of nature. Take this rock, stone, concrete wall that's been completely brought down. Gravestones unearthed, exposing human remains, koiwi and bones. Whānau now left with the task of retrieving those and seeking advice as to what happens to them next.
Let's not rush into reinterment just yet, because what you don't want to do is have to do it 2 or 3 times because you've found more. So it's a difficult one for you. It's a difficult one for whānau.
Heritage New Zealand and Te Papa are working closely with this community and want iwi and hapu to take the lead in the restoration of taonga.
But underneath, there's a lot of silt that we're going to have to get out. But you guys can have an assess and have a look at that.
We're very thankful to be able to have the expert advice because this is quite a unique situation. Never would I have thought that the water from the river would be able to dig up holes that 6 feet deep. Quite a shock. The koiwi, which have been collected, we're keeping them here in the whare karakia, and then we'll look to reinterring them once the recovery efforts a little bit more along the way.
Back in Esk Valley, coming to terms with the true extent of the damage is only the beginning of this massive exercise. In coming weeks, the carvings and panels will be taken down and safely stored.
Our engineers, when we clear the carvings inside, they're going to have a good look to see if there's any structural damage. If there's structural damage, then this whare will come down. It's an emotional time for us, but we got to get on with it. Yeah, we just got to lift our chin up and move forward.
I've been around by then, but our whānau know what to do.
None of us would have wanted this to happen, but if it needs to happen, as long as our taonga are removed safely, if they decide that's the best decision, then kei te pai.
Is this the first of many visits that you'll make here?
First of many. This is the start of a journey. I think this will be a chapter in their story. Māori communities have this resilience that's quite extraordinary because collectively there's that whakapapa that binds, there's the cultural sinews that bind the people together. So there's always that collective memory. And so what will be important is thinking about ways to mark this period, but in a way that's built on going forwards.
This catastrophe has enabled us to reignite that manaakitanga, reignite that aroha, and of course to share that with our wider community and to build up our communities once more.